Is this a false dawn in terms of stabilisation in the Chinese economy, or do these green shoots have some traction?
Look, this could very well be what I consider to be a pretty positive first quarter, but possibly only one quarter positive story coming out of China. The fact is that we saw good amounts of consumer spending, around the Lunar New Year, which had positive impact on even things like luxury retailing. Parts of the property market and the commercial side are looking, a little bit better, coming off of some very, very bad, deep lows. And of course, manufacturing seems to have rebounded, even if it's just 1 month. I'm just not sure how long this positive story is going to last.
You don't know how long this is going to last. And speaking to that, Shehzad, when you do channel checks with businesses, both foreign and domestic in China, what are they telling you about job cuts? Because we are getting some lines from Reuters. This is just sources at this point in time. We need to do more research and reporting on this. China's SAIC Motor aims to cut thousands of jobs this year at joint ventures with GM and VW and at their EV unit. When you do the channel checks, are you hearing any of this?
Well, I'll take the positive side of it. Over the last couple of months and going into March, by the way, we did see, even if seasonal, some pretty positive reports on the hiring side. So retailers and services industries did absolutely hire more. On the manufacturing side, we are coming off sort of a very, very strong 2023 on the manufacturing sector. And then that energy kind of continuing, as we just said, into the early part of the year. Commodities similarly, perhaps you don't get that strength continuing on for months and months. I think there's far more uncertainty on the industrial side about the hiring picture than perhaps on some of these consumer-facing parts of the market.
Shehzad, it's Lynn here joining in on the conversation. You've touched on this. I just wanted to talk about the property sector and also banks in terms of the earnings picture. So Country Garden missing that reporting deadline. Also Vanke's annual results, 46% plummet in net profit. And we are also seeing bad loans for some of those bigger state-owned banks last week going up as well. So what is that painting in terms of the full picture in terms of China's economy?
Yeah, look, I think China's property woes remain absolutely concentrated in the housing market. In March, once again, we saw that when it came to the surveys of residential realtors, home sales are down, prices are down further. The commercial side actually saw a little bit of breathing room. They got some breathing room. They turned in somewhat better results. But the housing market remains a big problem. This is despite mortgage rates continuing to fall at one of the lowest levels we've ever seen. And banks, of course, have done a tremendous amount of easing all through last year, through early this year. Borrowing rates have been at some of the lowest levels that we've seen. But even banks, by the way, seem to be taking a break. In March, what we saw was that loan rejections went up and even the cost of capital went up. That tells you that banks are starting to become very sensitive about their own bottom lines.